Jason Gilba, JGilba11. With me is Russell Clay at Russell J. Clay. Taking a look at tonight's 15-game FanDuel slate and a lot of pitching options. Got cores going on. I think that everything overall is pretty much in play. I mean, Chris Bryant's probably going to score 100 tonight.
Yeah, no, I'm actually pretty sure I am destined to have a lineup with almost all the guys I like, with one guy that I like that I don't roster, and then he's going to go for 3 homers. Oh, wait, that was yesterday. Okay, that's right. No, I'm actually really excited about this slate, especially with the pitching. Normally, it's either like all bad. It's either everyone's 5th starter on a 5-game slate or like Arrieta and Kershaw, and then you can't really dip down. But tonight you can really dip down into some of the value here. So some pretty reasonable options.
Yeah, definitely. And first game here, you got the Texas Rangers at the New York Yankees. CC Sabathia versus Cole Hamels. This one, 2 lefties on the hill. Obviously, Yankee Stadium's friendly. I'm not really looking at the Yankees' bats against Cole Hamels. Rangers side, I mean, I'm only really looking at Beltre and maybe Ryan Rua. I mean, maybe those in a punt option as far as Chirinos. I mean, those are the only real 3 guys that worthy of a look for me.
Yeah, I think we had a good run with Chu and Mazzara there, but I think we're taking the night off from them for sure. I'm not really even Beltre is a decent call, 3,300, so that's not bad. But other than that, I think I'm taking the night off from the Rangers, and pretty much same for the Yankees here. I had liked kind of how they were hitting of late, but they've sort of hit a cold streak the last few games, and then you don't like the lefty on lefty for their lineup with Hamels. So, yeah, I'm probably just avoiding this game, honestly.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. Hitters-wise, it's not really that appealing even in Yankee Stadium tonight. Mets and Nationals here, Matt Harvey versus Lucas Giolito, and another low-scoring game. I mean, it's in Nationals Park. Nationals have to be sort of contrarian tonight, even though Matt Harvey really hasn't been great against them this year. But I don't know. I mean, I could take a look at maybe some of these Nationals bats as being really, really contrarian. Not a stack. I mean, it would be just more of maybe I work Harper into a lineup or Murphy into a lineup.
Yeah, I think that's the way you play this. Because you do like the upside of the individuals tonight, but the national stack is not competing with, Coors or some of the stronger stacking options tonight. So, try to fit Harper in where you can. I don't hate that price. Don't hate the price of Murphy either. Even a Ben Revere. But again, Harvey's not like a chump out there, so he's not throwing lob balls either. So it's not a perfect matchup. So
no. The Mets side, I'm not really on them at their prices. They're a little too high for me for a team that's really been struggling for, the last month or so. I mean, those prices, I don't understand them, but it makes it easy for me to not really use them.
Yeah, I'm not paying $4,100 for Cespedes. That's for goddamn sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not either. You're angry
yeah.
there.
Yeah, no, not doing that.
Walker 3.4, Granderson 3.6. Those guys are just too expensive for me.
You know what, Jason? I don't have my coffee. I don't know why it's not in my hand. I am upset, and I'm taking it out on Yoenis Cespedes right now.
It's fine. It's understandable. I mean, you need that guy.
Yeah.
Cubs offense here. You got the Cubs and Reds next. John Lamb versus John Lester. And Cubs offense, I mean, Vegas projects them for over 5, coming off a really monster night there. Once again, I like their price tags quite a bit here. I think they are, once again, kind of that team outside of Coors that you can feel comfortable targeting. 1 through 6 for me.
Yeah, for sure. And you love Bays at 2,900, Zobrist 38, Hayward at 33, and then obviously you're willing to pay up for Bryant and Rizzo. So, yeah, obviously you can only do 4 on FD. So you're looking at, I mean, I'd probably look at 3 through 6, but again, 1 through 6 are all in play.
Yeah, definitely. It just kind of depends on where you want to go elsewhere. In I mean, you got to like a Wilson Contreras at 3-1. The price is, higher, but deservingly
Hmm.
so. And it's still not a bad price tag on a slate where there's a lot of pitching options that you can kind of go with.
For sure.
So you look at Lamb, I mean, not a good arm by any means. 343 WOBA allowed, 1.32 runs per nine. In that ballpark, once again, the upside's really there for all those guys.
Who was the pitcher that shut down the Cubs the other day? That you were like, I disagreed with you, and then they absolutely. Oh, Jose Fernandez. He's no Jose Fernandez, that's for sure.
Man, you made it known. I thought you'd crawl under a rock and be like, no,
No, you know what? I own my my mistakes there, and 13K is definitely warrants a mistake. So yeah.
Yeah, and the red side of things I talked about Lester, and as far as I'm not really a huge fan. Um, I do think some of these Reds guys at their prices have a little bit of upside here.
Yeah, I like a Duval, maybe a Cozart or something like that. Like maybe you could do those together. But Lester has been really inconsistent this year, so I like those two quite a bit.
Really inconsistent or consistent?
Inconsistent.
I mean, Lester's been good for me. I mean, he's been a guy who I don't usually target against. Um, but I just think, these guys get on base. There is some stolen base upside. I mean, if Billy Hamilton gets on, Lester can't throw to first base. He can't hold anyone on. So I think there is some stolen upside here.
Yeah, for sure.
Red Sox and Rays, Rick Porcello, Chris Archer. This one I'm hesitant on as far as hitters from this game. Not really looking to take guys really on either teams here.
Yeah, no, I'm not buying this for each guy. Even Porcello, I mean, he's a lot cheaper here than on DK, but I, I think we're kind of looking at maybe that Forsythe and Morrison combo again.
Yeah, the Rays are cheap, and you look at Porcello. I mean, um, against lefties, I mean, he hasn't been that great. 325 WOBA allowed, 33% hard ball rate going back to last year. So guys like Dickerson, if he's in the lineup, and Morrison, Brad Miller at those kind of mid-tier prices are contrarian pivots.
Hmm.
As far as the Red Sox, I mean, they got the Archer earlier. I mean, I still think they're priced entirely too highly for taking on a pitcher who's been better at home.
Yeah. Could this be a David Ortiz home run night though?
Oh, definitely, it could.
Yeah.
You look at Archer and really hasn't been great, and obviously you're looking at Ortiz. I mean, it's been money for the season in general.
Right. So I think that I don't think I'm looking at a full stack for the Red Sox, but maybe throw an Ortiz in there if you want to get weird at first.
Yeah, definitely. And, Indians and Braves here. Corey Kluber versus Matt Whistler. I love the Indians' offense once again tonight. I mean, the prices are higher, but you talked about last night. I mean, those bottom end options paying off, and they did again.
Chisenhall. I didn't. Mm.
Trust your gut, my friend.
I know. I know. Yeah, that was frustrating. But yeah, once again tonight, I think they're in play. I don't think Whistler is a pushover, but at the same time, this Indians offense has been streaking, so decent prices for them.
Yeah, definitely. And as you mentioned, I think those back end guys are decent one-off values. And obviously, even a Napoli or obviously Lindor and Kidness are kind of those obvious left-handed plays that you kind of go with.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and Braves side of things, I'm not obviously picking on Corey Kluber. No way.
I mean, unless, bro, I don't know, bro. Like I heard Adonis Garcia, bro. Yeah, no, we're not looking at that for sure.
No. Marlins and Tigers here, and pretty big run totals on both sides. Mike Pelfrey versus Adam Conley, and I like the prices of a lot of these bats on both sides here. You're looking at obviously the Tigers. I think all their right-handed bats are in play. Upton's still cheap. Kinsler's come down in price, and Maven's still 3K. And one thing you got to like about FanDuel is the fact that you can actually play Martinez and Cabrera in the same lineup.
Yeah, definitely. You have to like that. I love that combo against Conley. So definitely like those. And again, Castellanos, Kinsler also in play, but you definitely like Cabrera and Martinez in that price tier.
Yeah, definitely. I like him a lot. And you look at Conley, I've been very up and down this season. And
Mm-hmm.
for me, I'm pretty high on the Tigers offense. I think they're stackable. I mean, obviously a friendly team outside of Coors tonight. Obviously, they're the top offenses, but a lot of those right-handed bats against Conley, I'm in play.
Yeah, Conley's had quite a few sort of blow up games where things just get out of control early. And I think there's potential for that here. So definitely want to hit the heart of that Tigers order if you're looking to be. I'd say it's a little more contrarian, just because there's just going to be such an emphasis on Cubs, and Coors. But I think they are some decent values.
Yeah, I do too. I like their price tags quite a bit, and they obviously offer that same upside. And I do think, I agree. I think they are going to come behind Cubs and Coors game, obviously, which is where I think you can kind of get a little bit of a cheaper ownership with some of them.
Mm-hmm.
Marlins, though, I mean, the prices are back up on Stanton. Ozuna's questionable. Christian Yelich, I mean, I like the matchup, obviously. I mean, Pelfrey's in play. This is where you can get a little bit more contrarian just because Pelfrey's been a guy you can pick on.
This game makes me feel uncomfortable because I'm probably not going to target it, and I could just see like Marcelo Zuna getting 2 home runs. Like I just see that stat line. It's just going to be so annoying when I don't have him on a roster. But yeah, no, that's a really good contrarian high upside lineup tonight for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I like Yelich a lot. I mean, 4K is obviously expensive, but I do think he can kind of pay that off. And obviously, he's up there with a lot of big names, so it would be a really big pivot.
Yeah. Stanton again, 39, but he's sort of turning things around. That's a little expensive for me, but I mean, crazier things have happened. So if you're looking to be weird and you're doing 10 to 20 lineups tonight, I'd definitely throw Marlon Stack in there somewhere along the line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just looking, I mean, these Marlins guys aren't necessarily the values that they were maybe a week or two ago. I mean, those prices have kind of shot up of late.
Mm-hmm.
So, Twins and White Sox, the next one here, Jose Quintana versus Kyle Gibson. I like the White Sox prices a lot.
Yeah.
Really good matchup for them here against Kyle Gibson, average right-hander. You look at Gibson, I mean, very average against lefties, 324 WOBA allowed since last year. Eaton's come down in price tag. I mean, Melky Cabrera at 3K, those are really nice values from the left side of the plate.
Yeah, and give me Tim Anderson at 2,500 as well. But yeah, no, I like those lefty matchups for sure. I think you can get weird with this White Sox lineup, and this is a daunting slate, Jason, in terms of who you got to pick for hitters, because there is a lot of really solid sort of lineups in general tonight. So this is a really nice value stack. If you do want to pay up for Kluber, maybe start looking in this direction at the White Sox here.
Yeah, I mean, Vegas projects them for over 4.5. I mean, those price tags, Eaton's a guy who we've kind of liked always, but, the prices have always made it tough, but that's come down.
Yep.
Jose Brady, 3.6, that's a nice price for a guy who's turned around. So overall in that ballpark, I think they're all really favorable options 1 through 5.
Mm-hmm.
In twin side things, I'm not really looking to pick on Quintana. I know there are a couple of righties that do hit lefties as well, like a Dozier or a Grossman, but overall, nothing I'm picking on a full slate.
Yeah, definitely agree with you there. So I think, all right, let's if you had to choose between White Sox, Marlins, and Tigers, rank them in order, because I feel like we should organize it that way to give some perspective.
For me, it's Tigers, White Sox, Marlins.
Yeah.
Be how I rank it. Just once, taking prices into consideration as well is what makes the difference for me there.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I think I'm in a similar vein. I think Tigers are first here with that heart, and then I think White Sox, because of the value, you give them the slight edge over the Marlins. So
yeah, definitely. And you look at, I mean, obviously you can pick on Pelfrey all you want, but once again, I think the prices in consideration is what kind of breaks it off for me.
Yeah, so. Agreed.
Next one here, you got the Dodgers and Brewers. Chase Anderson versus Julio Urias in Miller Park. A decent run total. And for you, I mean, you're a big Urias fan. Are Brewers off the table, or could you look at maybe a guy or two?
Yeah, no, they're not off. They're not off the table. Ryan Braun or something as a deep tournament guy, I'm okay with. And he has struggled a little bit with control and walks, so I'm okay with some of these guys. Maybe a Chris Carter for the home run. potential. But other than that, obviously you're not stacking or anything like that.
No, I think the Brewers are kind of those one-off guys because Urias is still a popular play. The strikeout rate is there, and a lot of these Brewer bats do strike out quite a bit against lefties. So I do think you can kind of look at them as being GPP plays, not cash guys. But obviously, part considered, Urias, this is the second time they're going to see him over a recent stretch. So that's also something to know.
Yeah, the guy I'm actually excited about in this game is Corey Seager. He's been on fire of late, and I think this is a great matchup for him. So if you do want to pay up at short, he's really the top option there, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. And on the Dodgers side, I like Seager. Justin Turner's expensive. If he is in the lineup, he's questionable for today's game. I like him quite a bit against Anderson. I mean, Anderson, by all means, is just kind of your average right-handed bat.
Right.
And I think you can look at him as kind of a guy to really target, even though he is a little bit more expensive.
Right. And I don't think the Dodgers, like, as a stack would compete with those other three we were talking about, but I do like Seager. And I mean, I think you can throw an Utley in there as well and feel pretty comfortable with that.
Yeah, definitely. And on the other side of things, I mean, going down that back end, I mean, there are some guys like a Jock Peterson or a Trace Thompson that are pretty cheap.
Yep, Trace Thompson's a good call.
So overall, I mean, that could be a game that you can target for offense. I think more so on the Dodgers side, it seems a little bit safer.
Yeah, definitely.
So next one, here you got the Cardinals and Royals, and Yordano Ventura, Michael Wacha, two guys that have really been below average. And once again, those Royals bats come in rated at that solid value price tag. And 1 through 5, you got no one over 3,500, all kind of in that 3K to 3,300 range.
The Royals have really become a friendly, like, DFS pal. Like, they're always there for you. Even when you got no salary left, it seems like they're always there to pick you up. So, yeah, no, I definitely like that. I mean, Alex Gordon continuing to be at a solid price for sort of what we've seen of him historically. And, yeah, I mean, they're all – 1 through 5 is all really reasonable. So I'm definitely okay with that. Obviously, Wacha isn't a dead arm or anything, but decent one-offs for tournaments wherever you really want to fit him in, outfield first, catcher, even second. So definitely a lot of versatility there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously his June's been a lot better than what he did in the prior months. But still, I mean, he hasn't really missed a ton of bats this year on the road here. So I think you can kind of look at them as far as being, a safer option. I'm not getting too crazy with it, but I think overall you can look at a Lorenzo Cain as kind of those mid-tier pieces.
Yeah, I don't think you want more than 2 in your lineup in general, but I think you can definitely search for some value.
Yeah, definitely. And on the Cardinals side, I mean, I could see them kind of doing some damage here, maybe a couple of guys. At their price tags, I like just far too many guys around them for me to even really consider them using.
Yeah, I'm not in on Cardinals tonight. I did like Matt Holliday yesterday, but with Diaz sort of potentially not being in the lineup, I think that they lose some of their luster there. So I'm not really necessarily in on them.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a situation to kind of stay away from. I mean, yes, they have some guys, but I just think those prices are just a little bit too high. And Ventura, I mean, maybe you can look at a Matt Carpenter at his price. I don't mind that if you want to be contrarian up top.
Yes.
Next game here, we get the Blue Jays and Rockies. Obviously, a much better feel for this game as far as offense goes. One, because you got Eddie Butler on the hill. It's not John Gray. In you look at these Blue Jays bats and Butler, I mean, absolutely driven full arm.
Give me Josh Donaldson again. Oh, he didn't do well yesterday. Give it to me again. Yeah, I just think you fire away with this Blue Jays stack. You just do it. I don't. There's no reasoning that I could give you that you don't already know about Coors and Eddie Butler. I think you just go back to it again and hope it sort of averages out and they get 15 runs,
Yeah, I mean, that's a legitimate number. I mean, really, I mean, you look at Butler, 368 WOBA allowed to right-handers. Lefties have teed off on him, 437 WOBA. I mean, gives up a ton of homers. And for me, once again, I do think in Coors you take that special consideration that the back end guys are going to get 4 at bats, and you can look at a cheap Pilar, you can look at a Russell Hartner or Tulo. Also in consideration, I mean, obviously the top 5 guys are the guys you want to play and they take the priority, but I'm not going to be afraid to stick a Pilar in there.
Definitely. I think you do want Donaldson and Encarnacion in most of your Blue Jay stacks, but I do think you can get super weird here. Maybe a Donaldson Saunders and then dance around with two of those end of the lineup guys. I could definitely see that working out. So, um, also you gotta like Ezekiel Carrera. Once again, lefty in that lineup. Butler struggles against lefties, so strong lineup overall. Again, they're projected for 6.5 runs. So
Yeah, I mean, Jay Happ might even hit a homer.
imagine that. That'd be awful. I'd be angry, but I would laugh at the same time.
As far as the Rocky side of things go, I mean, you do have a couple of right-handed bats in that lineup. I mean, obviously, Arenado's takes the cake, but you do have a Ryan Rayburn at 3.6, a Mark Reynolds at 3.8. I think those guys are in play, and I still think even the lefties are in play against Happ. I mean, obviously, Happ's pitched pretty well this season, but of course, is a different animal, and the Rockies have a couple of decent guys like Adams and Descalso at 3.2 that are kind of
Yeah.
cheap.
Yep, definitely like Adams. That's a good call.
So I think overall, I think the Blue Jays are the focus here, the focal point of tonight's Coors games. But
Yes.
once again, the Rockies against Happer are certainly playable.
Absolutely.
So Phillies and Diamondbacks here, the next one. I mean, Zach Greinke versus Jared Eichhoff. And overall, I mean, Eichhoff's a guy who, against lefties, has struggled a little bit. I mean, 333 WOBA allowed. There aren't a ton of lefties in this Diamondbacks lineup, but a Jake Lamb, a Michael Bourne could be kind of intriguing options. I mean, Bourne, obviously, a deeper value.
Yeah, no, I like Bourne. I think that's a good call. As you mentioned, Eichhoff not a weak pitcher, so it's not like you're targeting him outright, but yeah, you can definitely target him with Lamb and Bourne. So if that's the way you want to go, I think you use the lefties in this lineup.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind a Segura up top either. 3,600 is a decent price tag. I don't really see myself paying for Goldschmidt just because there's far more guys. I mean, obviously he's always in play, but I don't see myself really kind of using him.
Yeah, most nights I'll be interested in the Diamondbacks at some point, but I just think there's a lot of better options. So I'm probably not going to be on them tonight, honestly.
Yeah, and the Philly side of things go, I'm not really looking at picking on Greinke.
Nah.
Next game here, got the Astros and Angels, and two rather weak arms on the hill. I mean, obviously Lincecum struggled in his last start. I think there's a lot of upside in this Houston team, actually. I mean, obviously they come at higher price tags, but against Lincecum, I mean, there was no real guarantee that he was going to come back and be the guy that he used to be. I mean, well, nobody expected that, but I do think he's going to have his fair share of blowups at times, and I think tonight could actually be one of them.
Yeah, you sort of look at the top of this lineup. Valbuena's been hitting pretty decent of late, so I think that's a pretty decent value there.
Yeah, definitely. And Correa and Altuve, I mean, Springer already at that 4K range. I really don't mind an Astro stack. I mean, I really don't. I think it's super weird. I think they're going to come kind of below the radar a little bit.
This might be the lowest you'll see the Astros in a while, in terms of ownership percentages. So hey, you know what? That might be a weird way to go. And we've seen once this Astros team gets rolling, they get rolling. They can put up 10 on you quick. So definitely a contrarian way to go. Definitely not my top stack or anything. But I mean, on a 15 gamer, that could be a nice weird way to go for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And on the other side of things, I mean, for me, there's really just two names that I'm looking at. I mean, obviously Trout's the obvious, but
And Daniel Nava.
No.
Oh, wow, that's surprising. I figured it'd definitely be Daniel Nava.
Cole Calhoun at 3.2.
Oh, yeah.
Hitting lead off. I mean, that's an intriguing price for him. I don't mind him against Scott Feldman. I think he's a decent value.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the 1-2 in that lineup, that's what you're kind of looking at there. And obviously I was joking about Daniel Nava. Don't. No.
Yeah, no. We know. It was a good one.
Yes.
Orioles and Padres, the next one here. And for me, I'm looking at a lot of these Orioles bats. I mean, you're just looking at Johnson. I mean, really, really not a strong arm. 438 WOBA to righties since last year. You're looking at lefties 375. So really, I think both sides of the plate they have it covered. And Petco, I mean, pretty neutral for lefty power. So I don't mind a Davis or Wieters, and I even think those righties are still in play for me.
It just makes it so tough because it's like this Orioles stack most nights would be like, ooh, there's some major upside here. And then you're like, oh, this is just kind of a casual, lineup in the middle of this slate. So instead of truly attacking them, I don't know how much I'm going to be on them, but yeah, no, definitely some major upside here. Definitely like them above the Astros. So I think they're a pretty high upside group here.
Yeah, definitely. And as far as the Padres side of things that go, I think just because the last 2 weeks their prices have kind of reached a little bit of a level that I'm not particularly thrilled about. For me, it's kind of a stay away situation now.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So, Pirates and Mariners here, next one, and obviously the Pirates offense really isn't intriguing, but for me, I like the Mariners bats tonight. I mean, Vegas does too. Obviously, Nelson Cruz is against the lefties, obviously always worth a look. And you got a Franklin Gutierrez, a Dejo Lee, Chris Iannetta. There are some playable right-handers here in the Seattle team.
Yeah, no, I definitely like Gutierrez Cruz. Obviously, we're talking about the righties in this lineup, so you definitely have to like that. Cano, I think obviously Cano has the potential to get to Nice, but I think they're more just guys you plug in as help. Maybe you throw an Iannetta at catcher, as sort of off of a stack, a bigger stack or something like that.
Yeah, I think so too. That's exactly where I see using them. Is just kind of mixing them in and out of different lineups and different stacks.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I mean, you look at Nice, 348 wOBA allowed since last year, 1.37 horns per nine. Just looking at this team, I think Seattle's actually really, really nice look tonight.
So. I think that's fair in a non-stacking way. Ooh, he might go for it, folks.
I might toss in a Seattle stack. I mean,
like a Seattle righty stack, and then you could go expensive elsewhere, sort of that type of deal.
Yeah, I think I am looking at Gutierrez, Lee, Iannetta, Cruz type guys, and hoping they all kind of hit and tee off and do their usual ways.
I think that would be pretty cool. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Yeah, I like that idea. I hadn't thought of that, so I like and respect that idea.
It's pretty cool. Well, pretty cool guy. He's in Giants here. This next one, Albert Suarez versus Kendall Graveman. For me, I don't know. I mean, you could look at some Giants bats, but at the prices, I just think there's better options.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Not tonight. Sorry, Giants. I like you guys, but I'm not doing it tonight. I'm not. No, neither of these teams. Sorry.
No, we've talked about enough late night guys that are in play as far as the other teams go.
Vought's okay with me. Vought's always all right with me. Throw Vaught in there, you're good. But beyond that, I don't really think it's a Valencia night, so I'm probably just staying away from Oakland.
Yeah, I think this game's kind of a stay away. There's a lot of better upside at similar prices.
Yeah.
So that's going to wrap things up with the FanDuel Punch Out. Be sure to check out dailyfantasycafe.com for all the great tools and content.